I've been in financial services for 21 years, so I could speak to personal stories. I could speak to every story you can imagine. I've heard families just propping people up. What do you say to the people that they have this internal guilt that they've had a level of success, they want to give it back, and it becomes unhealthy at a certain point? You understand? You follow what I'm saying there? Do you
Yeah, a
understand where I'm
hundred
going?
percent, 100%. Well, I think it goes back to the relationship with money. And I believe that money is energy. I, I don't believe that my net worth equals my self worth. And I think that's a big mistake people make. I believe that money is a tool for me to be comfortable, play, enjoy, and explore in the world and share with others. And for me personally, my higher purpose is to help elevate collective consciousness. And so for me, if it's investing in a book for people in the world that I can scale myself and not be there, yep. So what it is you go back down to your values. What do you value most? And if you that guilt, it might be having you give to someone else when it actually doesn't feel good to you. You're like, "Oh, I'll just give it because then I don't have to deal with my brother calling me again, asking me for money or, whatever my parents need or my" right? Here's the thing. One of the biggest gifts I've found in my life has come through struggle. I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor. Those were not easy. And there were days that I failed a class. There were days that I didn't pass my boards. I mean, crazy stuff that was happening. Those were the moments I became stronger. So what I would ask you is it really that you're guilty about not giving someone else, or is it that you cannot sit in the discomfort of other people's hardship and challenges? Because if you can't sit in your own discomfort and you want to alleviate that, what I want you to know is you're actually handicapping the other person because they never get to grow and know what it's like to come over that. And I've in my business of 15 years, I've gone to zero twice. Twice. But you know what I know now? I know that if a pandemic ever happens again, if something ever happens again, I have the self-trust now to figure it out. And I will. I asked for help, people gave it to me, and I took care of it in a year. Awesome. But I needed to go through that experience. So the question is, if you're someone who's really connected, you love other people, when they are not doing well, do you make that your own? Do you not know the line between where you end and somebody else begins? Can you not sit next to someone as they learn their life lessons and allow them and just be a support to them and trust that they are strong, resourceful, and capable? Now, if they ask you for money and you check in with yourself and you're like, "Oh, this aligns with my values. This feels good to give. And I am in service." And you say to them, whether they're family or whether they're not, you make a clear agreement. Yes, you'll pay this back in a year. Yes, you'll pay this back whenever you can, or you don't need to pay this back. Whatever somewhere in the middle, whatever it is. Check in with your own body because your own physiology gives you the answer. If when you say these sentences to someone else or you're contemplating this, you feel constricted, heavy, tight, you know that you're protecting yourself. If your body is open, light, ease, you feel energy flowing and generosity coming out of your heart, and it feels like the right thing to do, not here in your heart. You gotta match what your mind is saying. "Oh my god, they're not gonna like me. They're never gonna talk to me. They're never inviting me to that party again. I'm gonna get out of the cool club." I don't know what you're saying in your head, but also check your body and see if there's constriction, heaviness, tightness, openness, ease, and lightness, because your body keeps the score. There's a good book on that. And your body always knows. It never forgets. One more thing I just wanted to say is when we were talking about trauma, for some people that seems really heavy. Gabor Mate is amazing on trauma. He's just a genius, right? But I love when he said, trauma can be something bad that happens to us. There's plenty of things that are awful that happen to people and children and okay. But he said, don't be mistaken. Trauma can also be your needs as a child not being met. So you needed someone to notice you. You needed someone to jump up and down when you gave them a drawing when you were 6 and they had a look of disappointment like this is all you're giving me or that's not cute or whatever. So our own soul, like our souls as we grow up, need the love and attachment of the world around us because we're so helpless and dependent on each other when we're growing up. And so, yes, it can be something big and bad, but yes, it can be something that's just as simple as I was the 3rd in line in my family, and my older brother was Simba, and he got all the attention, and I didn't feel like anybody noticed whether I was there or not, right? So there's a much more subtle level of this, and I think the pandemic helped people start talking about it all, because the world went through a global what I call a global heart attack together. And now there's nobody who hasn't gone through rapid change that they were not voluntarily going through themselves. So
Yeah, so much good stuff in there. I mean, on the money thing, there's two things that come to mind, and that is, the energy. I think realizing the abundance of financial opportunity in the world and not having that scarcity mindset is a major change for so many individuals. I know personally it changed my entire life when I just started to pay attention to what I was learning, how I was growing, the things that were happening, and every time one chases money, they never catch it. It's never enough. But when you actually do good things and you provide a service for someone and you help someone and you serve something outside of yourself, it just
it's a
comes.
byproduct. It's a
It's
byproduct.
side,
It's
yeah.
but what are we doing in our world? Like in corporate America, everybody's like, bottom line, next quarter, this number, that number, right? I really subscribe to something called conscious capitalism, which is companies need to have a purpose higher than profit. You tell me the impact you're making in the world. Tell me why this company exists that's going to change the world and help people be better. The second one is whenever you make a decision, don't just look at your shareholders. Look at every stakeholder it's going to impact. Tell me what they all value, and then give me a solution where everybody matters and everybody wins. And we can do that in our families as well. And then the third one is conscious leadership that no matter who you are, you can grow to the next level. And the fourth one is we must build conscious and caring cultures and care about our people more than, you know, oh, this person, I'm using this person for my own gain, right? Like, do you care about them? Do you know them? And so there's this way that I think if we infuse the heart, which is often missing in organizations and companies and families sometimes even like, hey, do this. I said, do that. You need to get an A. You need to do this. Why didn't you do the dishes? Right? Like, if we can just slow down and connect to our hearts and then see this soul as another being who's looking for connection, how might we say it differently?
If you like clips like this, I have a similar clip here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here.